Let's summarize the module and wrap up the course. And the first thing I said a few times throughout this module is that eventually, if there's enough traffic, enough volume, a concerted enough attack, regardless of what your defenses are, it will take you down. It's just a question of scale. You may be able to fend off much of the attack by simply absorbing it, scaling up, having more capacity in order to serve those malicious requests. But that is an arms race, and you may well get to the point where it's simply too difficult or too costly to keep the service alive, at least until the attack subsides. Part of the way you can defend against these attacks, though, is to have a multifaceted approach. Defenses at layer 4, defenses at layer 7, segmenting or sandboxing the application, having lots of ways that you can defend against these attacks at different points in the application. There is no one single answer. Every defense strategy needs to have multiple countermeasures at different points within the environment. Traditionally, it has been difficult to defend against denial of service attacks, particularly DDoS. And to be clear, most of the attacks we're seeing these days are DDoS attacks. So even though I've used both those terms quite a bit throughout the course, usually what we mean is multiple points of attack. Traditionally, it has been hard to defend against that, particularly when there were requirements for physical infrastructure. But more and more these days, cloud-based DDoS services are becoming particularly effective, not least of which because they're so easy to provision. Cloudflare, 5 minutes, beginning to end, to start routing your traffic through their infrastructure and letting them handle DDoS defenses for you. Combining that with application infrastructure which is cloud-based, infrastructure that you can scale up and down on demand in order to absorb that attack, putting those two together makes for a really strong defense strategy. And finally, preparation is absolutely everything. We just talked about this in the previous clip. Having a strategy before you get attacked, making sure they work, having a crisis management plan, and then knowing what it will cost you. So much of denial of service attacks comes down to simple mathematics. How much will it cost us to stay down? What do we have to pay to stay up? When does it make sense to pay it? The best thing that you can do if you're defending systems against DOS attacks is making sure that you're able to act on those equations, making sure that you can put defenses in place quickly when it's justified financially, and having the foresight to be able to know which defenses to apply when. This has been Ethical Hacking, Denial of Service. Thank you very much for watching it. I'm Troy Hunt.